When I was a kid and I started in the gym, I think I probably had the best conducive environment to develop the love for the gym because my childhood really wasn't the best. I was subject to a lot of verbal abuse and really underwent a lot when I was younger. If you're a young black man who was raised by a single mom, you probably understand where I'm coming from. You know exactly what it is I'm talking about. But just to put it frankly, my mother, she loved me and I had it made. Like, she took care of me. She's the best woman in the world. But growing up, the household, it just was not healthy. Simple as that. And when I went to the gym, I used that anger and that darkness and the frustration and all the negative emotions to fuel my desire to get stronger, to have control over my own body, to basically use my dark side and integrate it to hit the gym. It was the stereotypical young man pretty much fed up with life, angry, and is taking it out in the weight room. And because of those traumatic incidences, because of the shit that I went through, and also because of just my environment and the time it was, I mean, I'm 24 and it's 2025, YouTube and stuff like that, it wasn't that popular, and I wasn't really out here with the smartphone comparing myself to all these fitness influencers and shit like that. But I was pretty much just dialed into my own life. I was so, if I were to visualize it and to explain it in a visual sense, it was almost like I was in a dark void, just in a dark room or in a completely dark world where nobody else existed. And it was just me, the pump, and the weight. And that's exactly where you want to get to. When I think of Plato's light in the cave analogy, I somewhat kind of look at this in a gray light. The Plato's light in the cave analogy is simply where you have these men who lived in a cave. Their entire life, they lived in a cave, and all they know is the shadows on the wall of the cave that was being created by a man who was simply manipulating them through the light of a fire in different shapes. And these men who are chained up in this cave saw nothing but those shapes that the man created from the shadows their entire life. So all they basically known was the shadows in the cave. Whereas one day, one of the men escaped the cave, and he saw the light of the world. He saw the sun, he saw the green grass, and he saw everything. He basically was astonished and overwhelmed, and he saw the truth of the world. Then one day he came back. He came back to the cave and was trying to tell the people and show guys like, hey, this is the light. This is the truth of the world. This is the reality. And when he showed those men, they basically said, fuck this, I'm going back. In other words, the light was so astonishing and overwhelming and so glorious that they went back into the cave. And although this analogy and this philosophical idea doesn't exactly 100% apply to the point that I'm trying to make, I would actually advocate that you should be like the three men who went back into the cave. My name's Chike. I've been consistent in the gym for roughly 9 years. I've been consistent with resistance training and muscle building, and I built the aesthetic physique from lifelong discipline and just lifelong love and enjoyment of being just a gym rat at heart. And I just want to share with you guys ways and strategies you can get fit, as well as overcome mental barriers for you guys who are trying to get fit and stay disciplined in today's age. Simply, I just want to help you guys do the same. The reason why I say you should be like the people who are in the cave is because you should just embrace focus. Of course, you shouldn't be someone who intentionally shuts himself off to the world, but sometimes you need to just learn how to narrow down your focus. You can't be the person like these philosophy guys who are just always thinking about every fucking thing and always analyzing the grand scope of everything and trying to understand everything all at once. You have to learn how to just narrow down your focus. You can't sit up here and think like a shotgun. Sometimes you need to choke the spread and be a sniper rifle and just focus on one thing. You need to tighten your scope of the world and stop looking at so many different things and comparing yourself to people. And that's basically what fueled me. You want to be kind of like the child who's ignorant to the thing that he's doing, the child who's just kind of aloof, not really focused on a whole bunch of different things, or it doesn't really have a whole, like a nihilistic or cynical viewpoint of the world. And that's easier said than done, but you should know that having that childlike wonder and that childlike love for fitness is what inspired me and what caused me to get to this point. The trauma that I went through and the pain that I went through growing up fueled my desire to hit the gym day after day in that stage of my life. And then it actually enabled a love and a passion for the gym and for muscle building and simply just being strong as fuck to be with me lifelong, and it turned me into the guy that I am today. But one of the main things that I see holding people back is that they have something called gym anxiety, or they look at other people's success and they get discouraged. And this is a natural phenomenon because even today it happens to me. I don't get discouraged with the gym because I see how far I've come now, and I'm actually one of those guys who are probably one of the top 10%, top 5% of lifters just in the world as far as physique and fitness in comparison to everybody in the globe. Not to say that I'm like C-bum or an Olympic lifter or anything like that, but my physique is actually pretty good. If you were to put 100 people in a room with me, chances are I may be the strongest or have probably the best physique in that room. It's just simple as that. But your mind makes comparisons and you're going to go ahead and look at other people online and think, damn, I ain't shit. It still happens to me too. When it comes to YouTube, I see people who may not be as fit as me, who may not be as strong as me, or may not even have enough experience in me, but they'll have like thousands of subscribers, and I'll sit up here and look down on myself, or I'll see people who make better content than me and I'll think, shit, like I'll be discouraged from what it is that I'm doing. But I find myself having the most progress when I don't consume content. Even though I'm on YouTube, I actually don't watch YouTube. Most of the shit that I'm learning is courses that I take in school or podcast shit and educational content that I use to fuel my knowledge and desire to learn more so that I can provide you guys better quality content. I find myself making the most progress when I'm just dialed in on myself. When I see that, oh, I hit 125 for 6 on my DB press, and now I just saw that I'm hitting 130s the next week over 2 weeks later, I feel good. But then when I see some 16-year-old who's hopped up on trend hitting 315 for 7 online, I kind of get discouraged. And it's the same thing with you. You need to be in love with your small wins. You need to be in love with your own progress. You need to make this shit a game. You need to make your progress a game and just dial in and just focus and zoom in on what the fuck it is that you're doing. See that, okay, you got 25 pounds on the chest press with the dumbbells, or you got a 15 kg or a 30 pound bench press. Cool. Focus on getting it to 35 and be grateful for that. But seeing other people's progress will take the gratitude away from your gains. It'll take the gratitude away from your progress because we're comparative, greedy, and selfish creatures. Sometimes you don't need to step outside the cave. Sometimes actually you need to be in the cave with certain things. Obviously with calibration, you can't just be completely ignorant to what's going on around you. Know how to make better progress, maybe take some ideas online. But if you're completely surrounded by sensationalized content and people basically showing their lives off, it's going to make you feel discouraged. So let's talk about some actionable steps that you can take to get rid of comparison. I say honestly, get off YouTube. Obviously, I want you to watch my content, but if being on YouTube and watching YouTube shorts and watching people makes you want to compare yourself more and it's going to make you feel like shit when you see me with my shirt off and my big ass chest hanging over my abs and casting a shadow, maybe you should just get off. Maybe you should just go ahead and do the workouts that you know you need to do and fall in love with your records and stop watching me. I say get off Instagram and get off social media completely. Get away from the social comparison atmosphere. But then you can say, oh, well, I still see people out and about and I still see people in the gym that are just stronger than me and I get discouraged. To that, I say your actionable step that you can take is go at different times. Find a 24-hour gym or or maybe have home workouts where you can do something at home and then you can have a measurable record of your progress by saying, oh, I'm doing more push-ups or I'm doing more weight with my pull-ups or something like that. You can do home workouts. You can go to the gym at different times, but you're never going to be able to stop fit people from going to the gym. There's not going to be gyms where you're not going to see fit people in it, obviously. And to that I say sometimes you just got to learn how to control your own mind and control your own focus and control your own perception of the world. You have to be a man, or if you're a woman watching my videos, you have to be a grown-up and an adult to know how to just change your scope. Learn how to focus in on your own on command. Learn how to stop giving a fuck about what other people got going on and focus on yourself. Find gratitude in the joy and the fact that you are doing more weight than you did prior, and stop caring about the guy who's doing 3 plates on overhead military press. When you look at successful people in any field, they kind of have like this blind ignorance / arrogance about themselves, even when it comes down to businesses. Maybe this is a hot take or an unpopular opinion, but some of the most successful people in the world be some of the most ignorant motherfuckers out of here. They sort of have that childlike wonder. They're just so obsessed with it is what they're doing, and they lack an awareness of the outside world and other criticisms and their own inner thoughts. Something that intelligent people are really good at is finding reasons as to why their goal or what it is that they want to do is a bad idea, and they're really good at risk assessment and seeing a bunch of risks and reasons to not do it is what they want to do. You kind of want to learn how to be the dumbass who doesn't really assess risks. You don't want to overanalyze things. My main point in this video is sometimes ignorance is bliss. Sometimes you need to be ignorant of the world to function properly and pursue the goals that you want to pursue. Narrow your scope of the world, narrow your perception and awareness of the shit that's going on around you, and hone in on what it is that you want to do in the field that you're trying to pursue. Put all of your focus into it. Be grateful for every step that you've taken and advance towards your goal. And you can take action on that by getting the fuck off of social media, finding odd hours to go to the gym, maybe work out at home, and learning how to just stop looking at other people, mind your damn business, and get to work. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to learn more, go ahead and click on this one. Goodbye.